Happy Monday to all. This is John McEntyre live. I'm John McEntyre, and um, we were experiencing some technical difficulties, so we appreciate watching, being patient with us. And it was my fault. It's Monday. You have those days to where everything is time is moving in regular pace, but you're moving in slow motion, and everything was like a chore today. Couldn't get cooperation over hair and makeup, but I'm here, and so the routine. I'm actually going to share another story. Working with clients. These are very good stories that we're coming across, um, and we're probably deciding on if we're just going to extend the time of the show each day to include a story and a question, because I don't want to. Make it seem like the questions aren't important. So we've been answering the questions by email, but as they come in on the show, we would definitely answer them. It's just these stories are so good, we want to share them with you. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to do a routine, our wallet wins, and which is another question someone asked me about the wallet wins. And the purpose of it is to just celebrate, to share what everyone's doing out there with their finances to get their money, to get their money life in order, because that's what we're about here. We're about your financial health and wellness. And financial health and wellness, if you're building wealth, no matter how much wealth you amass, it's by taking small steps. And I call the small steps wallet wins. That's where it came from. So everything that you do that's a step forward for you is a wallet win. And that's where it actually came from. So hope that clarified that. And that's what I want you to do, is share your wallet wins here, because this is, our goal is to build a community of everyone that's winning with their money, and be a safe space for people to ask those questions, to share those wallet wins, no matter how large or small, because they're going to add up. It creates the momentum. Some people call it baby steps. You're taking baby steps. I just call it wallet wins. And so this is the space where you can share those wallet wins, and others can see it and see the success that's coming from it. And it hopefully will inspire them to do the same thing and also share theirs. So we have a community of everyone's winning with their money. So wallet win number one is paid off credit card that I opened in college. And yes, I believe that that's a serious wallet win, because on the college campuses today, uh, it used to be a time when you went to college, to an open house, particular colleges, or that first day, um, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, Orientation. It's the actual orientation day. You walk in and you're just seeing maybe the fraternities, the different clubs, all of that that's going on the campus. Now the largest table is the credit card company. They're spending this money to get there, because if they can get you early, and you just have to be breathing to get a credit card in college. They're going to give you a credit card, just to get you hooked and addicted early, uh, and then basically indoctrinate you into the use of credit the rest of your life, is basically what it is. Um, and like I say, I am not anti-credit card. Just that college campus for the first day for a student in orientation, that's not the time to be, hey kid, you want a credit card? It's, you're going to have fun, you're going to do this, you're going to meet new people, and learn and do, and learn the school and everything, not applying for credit. Do that after you graduate college, because most people, they're using student loans, so they have enough. They've borrowed enough, so they don't need to add any high interest loans to the loans they're probably taking out anyway. So that was wallet win number one, paid off credit card that I opened in college. I know that was a big sigh of relief. Wallet win number two, this couple played we played find the money game, and refinance the car loan, saving $250 per month with the same terms. So yes, that is a wallet win, lowering the car payment $250 and keeping the same terms. So yeah, uh, you do a few more of those in your, in your finances, and you're definitely on your way. Because that was a great idea, because most people don't think of refinancing their car, to try to get a lower interest rate, keep the same term to get a lower interest rate, which lowers the payment and everything. And most people just don't think about it. They get the car and then they just make payments until, the car's paid off, which that rarely happens. Most of the time they end up selling the car upside down to buy another car, and it starts over again. So yeah, that was a very smart move, finding the money. Um, that's one thing that we always do with clients, is finding the money. And Andrea, you've seen Andrea on the show plenty of times. She's excellent at finding money. Uh, she's like a money account, a financial account whisperer. She can get every penny out of a. She can find it for you. If it's lost, she'll find it. Wallet win number 3: set up my living will and healthcare power of attorney. That's a very good one. Also, especially with that healthcare power of attorney. Well, both of them. And I've talked about wills. I think one of the wallet wins Friday was about someone finally updated their will, and so that living will is an important document to have set up, because you're telling who gets what, you know, and that healthcare power of attorney is taking care, help you make decisions. And I've done a show about that also. Um, Take care of those decisions that you couldn't make for yourself if something happened. Uh, and that power of attorney is extremely important, because if there's no one to be around to tell what happened, you don't know what's going to happen, depending on the healthcare system and everything. And I'm not being negative, just heard some horror stories, and I've almost seen some horror stories, some bad situations happen because of did not know if there was a power of attorney in place. Uh, Saw a situation, actually, a person stepped in and was like, yes, they have a power of attorney, but they were asking the patient was under, heavily sedated. So they didn't even know their name. They're asking them those type of questions and actually checking, you know, boxes, even though the person could not answer questions. So that's why you want to have a healthcare power of attorney um, in place, with people, will and power of attorney copies given to more than one person. There should be, a number of people that have them, just in case, something happens here. And I just wanted to share also power of attorney, an area that I've seen it quite a bit, in Medicare. A lot of, a lot of kids want to help their parents enroll, and sometimes their parents may not be able to answer questions, and the child just thinking, hey, that's my mom, that's my dad, I can answer questions. You can't answer questions for them you can't speak for them, because you don't have power unless you have power of attorney, and you have to have proof that you have to have the document, um, to prove that you have power of attorney. It's not just that easy to step in and say yes, no, or answer questions and give pertinent information. It doesn't count, because if you do not have that power of attorney with proof, because they want a copy and they're going to put it in the file. So that's something to just think about, how important the power of attorney is these days. All right. So now let's get to this. Like I say, it's not a question. We're just sharing a story. It came from Andrea here. Um, Working with a client. She's a high income earner, and everything was fine in her financial situation. It's just that she was just upside down on a few debts. She was working on them, and from what Audrey gave me, she was basically just irritated by them, because there are some people that get irritated by certain debts and they want them gone. Once they like wake up and they get serious about their finances, they start looking for ways, not quick fixes, but just the best path to pay off certain debts, and they see how stupid they were with their money in certain debts, and so they just want to get them out of the way. Well, that's what it sounds like. This particular situation, um, she was taking care of everything, no debt other than the mortgage, and these few debts from her past, and they were very high interest debts, is what they were. So that's one part. Andrea was working with her, asking questions, doing the find the money, playing the find the money game with her. They uncovered a 401k that was left at her old job, and the 401k was actually doing very well. So after doing some consideration, it was recommended that she roll that 401k over to her new company. Also, she had a 401k with them also. Uh, she wanted to do. It was recommended that she get a debt consolidation loan, and she did that, but the interest rate was still sort of high because she was, in the process of clearing things up. So she couldn't get like those prime interest rate loans and everything, but she was able to get one, even though it was still sort of high. The interest rate was still sort of high, but it did simplify things. So that was the first level. Let's get things simplified, because usually that's where you will really work in your finances, when everything is sort of simple. You're keeping it very simple. Get overly complicated, it can demotivate you, overwhelm you, and things like that. So that was the first level. So that was a good step in the right direction, doing a debt consolidation loan, but the interest rate was still sort of high. Other thing, one of her goals, she had her oldest child would be going to college in 5 years, and so she was irritated that she was sort of behind on that, and so she wanted a strategy to where she could catch up with her kid, making sure that she would be able to do as much as possible with them going to college, to contribute to the college fund, because she did have 5 years. And this debt, even though it was a debt consolidation loan, it has simplified things. It was just still in the way, as far as she was concerned. She just wanted it out of the way, and she was very adamant about making that happen, um, which is good. Okay, the motivation is there. Pretty much when someone is very motivated, whatever they do is going to work. And so after more consideration, uh, this 401k that had been rolled over had been doing very well, added to her other 401k. It was It came to the decision to take a loan from the 401k uh, at I think it was 7%, to allow her to pay off the debts quicker. And it was lesser in fees. 7% was much less than this high. I think the actual debt consolidation loan was 20%. So it wasn't exact, it was better than nothing, but that's still high. So with doing that, with taking out that loan from her 401k, she saved herself 13%. So she lowered everything 13%. That's not bad. Um, is that the first option always, to borrow from the 401k? No, but in this particular situation, and combined with her motivation and her overall financial situation, she had her savings. Some people, she had her emergency funds. She had, her living expenses in place. So some would have said, well, why didn't she just take it from there? Well, in this particular situation, this 401k was forgotten about. So it was found money. So it was stacked. It was like basically accelerated some other things. Is basically what it done. So taking a loan from that particular situation was not a bad thing, because she was already accelerated by it in the first place. So she didn't take any like steps backwards. She was already ahead because of this 401k. So with her taking it that way, she lowered her interest rate 13%. It was her money. So and she know, in this particular situation, it was a very low interest loan, because with the company she works for, they all have their own rules about how much interest they charge. So in her particular situation, the interest rate that she would have to pay back on the loan was very low. So that was like another plus. It was a much lower interest rate, like I say. And so she killed a lot of birds with more song, and she's happy and satisfied, and she knows she has to pay this back in a certain amount of time. Most of the time with 401ks is what, 5 years. They give you like 5 years to get them paid back. And so she didn't do a withdrawal, she did a loan, so she didn't have to pay taxes and fees for early withdrawals. She did a loan. She knows she has to pay it back. Most of the time you have to make equal payments back quarterly. She knows that, and she's motivated to get it paid back. But she has money to take care of that debt, and she was taking that money to put towards her kids' college fund. So she's happy, she's winning, she has a strategy in place, and she's making the strategy happen. So she is winning in this particular situation. Like I say, she had the high income and no other debt other than her mortgage. So it's not like she had a bad situation trying to correct a bad situation. The situation was corrected. Now she's just doing it the way she wants to do it. That's making her happy. Some people, they have their reasons, and she wants to contribute to her child's college fund. Um, and that's a motivating factor for her to do the right thing. She was already doing the right thing. This is just more motivation. Everything's fine. Had she had like other debts everywhere and things like that, and don't have any, emergency fund, don't have any savings anywhere, no, leave the 401k alone, because that's just inviting a making a bad situation worse. Because if you don't have the discipline to pay that back, then you might go into, other, it is a loan and you have to pay it back, or you will pay penalties and things like that. So then you can get into that, make a bad situation worse. This particular situation, she was improving the overall picture, and she's moving forward. Uh, and that's one of those things, working with people. You just have to make that. That's like a gut decision. This person is going to make this happen. This person over here, we don't know. Let's wait. Let's look at some other alternatives before we go into 401ks and maybe borrowing from insurance policies, things like that. Let's wait. Let's look at other alternatives first. This particular situation, it worked out well. It was something unexpected, and it's actually, she's making it work. So good story to share. Now you see why I wanted to share that, because today, especially in America, especially with the younger generation, there's been survey after survey. The millennials are already going into their 401ks, borrowing from them, withdrawing from them, and putting their future in jeopardy. And I'm like, that's a little early, to already be going, borrowing from your 401k, doing withdrawals. uh, that that's going to come back to bite, and it's going to be a big time bite later on in life, because you're losing all of that time that money could be growing. You're in your 50s and you use part of your 401k for a particular situation, and you have a strategy in place, you have a good income, that's one thing. But just to be starting out and you're already borrowing from it, that's the beginning of bad habits. So um, let's not go that path. Let's put some discipline and some delayed gratification in place. Then and get your financial situation settled, built on a solid foundation, because you're in your 20s. That's basically what you're doing. You're working on your foundation, and we all know foundation is everything. If you interfere with the foundation, no matter what you build, it's not going to last, because the foundation is weak. And so that's just the little 2 cent there for the story. All right, so before I close here, we're bringing up the question of the day. And so the question is, have you ever borrowed from your retirement account or life insurance policy? You know, just a quick question. And I want to get the feedback from it on how it's working out for you. Did it work? Did it not work? Did you consider it a mistake, or was it one of the better things you did, and you took care of it? So that's the question of the day. Have you ever borrowed from your retirement account or life insurance policy? All right, so that does it for today's show. I hope you liked it, and if you did like it, show some love. Hit the like button. subscribe to the channel, and share it, because that's what, like I said, that's what we're doing here. Is this show is for you. It's about you. It's not about me. It's about you. It's not about us. It's about you and your financial health and wellness. So tune in tomorrow, same time, same channels, YouTube Live, Facebook Live. We'll talk.